So it's been 10 years of just a lot of ups and downs, and admittedly, I would like to say maybe more downs than actual ups for this franchise. But Destiny 2, if you ask me, is about to hit its lowest point ever. This actually might just be like a make it or break it point when it comes to the franchise and what's about to happen in the future. Last week, Bungie, the creators of another dying franchise, Halo, fuck, axed 220 employees for the second time. So they did layoffs, I think, earlier this year and had some more layoffs planned this year. What's crazy here in this situation is that this comes after the Final Shape DLC, which is probably one of the best received expansions that they've ever released. If you ask me as a fan, I gave this one a 10 out of 10. It is everything I wanted and more. And, no one really expected just like another round of layoffs, especially, when they did so well here with this type of expansion. The team has gone down from about 1,200 employees to I think around 850. From what I'm seeing online, there's been some, really notable gaming journalists like Jason Schreier going over this. If you really want like accurate numbers, it looks like some are also being absorbed into Sony. Sony ended up actually purchasing Bungie after they had ditched Activision, because they really wanted to focus on making Destiny 2 a live service. And it just looks like whatever Sony is doing is just realizing that, maybe they're not being efficient here. They're very mismanaged, and there's just a lot going on when it comes to this company and what's in store for Destiny 2. So I'm someone that's been kind of like an on and off player. I've been playing Destiny since the first game. I actually played the beta when it first came out. And I've made some videos on this channel of mine. I've got a new channel, it's growing, but Destiny 2 is actually something that I enjoy a lot. And I really wanted to cover my experience with the franchise and let you know what this round of layoffs really means. It looks like a lot is going to be happening when it comes to the future of Destiny 2. And, is it finally going to be that dead game that people keep talking about? Is it going to die? Is it even worth playing now? So I kind of want to give you guys my perspective on things, give you kind of a recap of what's been going on in the news. Side note, if you're into anything gaming, my channel focuses on reviews. I also do impression videos and tip videos. So drop a like if you like the video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for any different content like this. It's the first time I'm gonna be covering something a little more in depth, so let me know what you think. So I wanted to start with my personal opinion of just the franchise and what's been happening. I think it's no surprise that I enjoy it a lot. I think it's one of the better franchises, the better live services that's come out. Destiny 1, if you ask me, was kind of a flop in the beginning. I traded it in to GameStop for nickels back when they were buying games, for nowhere near what you paid for. Just because I kind of beat the game, got over it, didn't really want to grind the same missions over and over. And I came back during Taken King to a really cool story, really cool expansion, got into more of the grind, enjoyed, getting the new weapons, doing raids. And I even enjoyed the story there. Destiny 2 shortly was announced, and when you look at it, it was just kind of a little more Destiny 1, but I would say a better polished version, a little more coherent of a story. The gunplay, this is something that I've talked about in all my reviews, is what keeps me there. I think that the gameplay is great. I think the gameplay loop, it can get a little exhausting, but it's fun. It's something that you can just turn on, grind for a little, get some awesome weapons, get some awesome armor, get off. And if I had to point one flaw out, it was just how repetitive the game got. And most fans can kind of agree with this. If you look at just like the multiplayer in general, people that play that, I can't play it. I truly cannot play it. Props to you guys. I'm just so over it. It really hasn't changed from Destiny 1. There's rarely any like new maps or anything that comes out. I think Into the Light finally gave us something, but it's a shame. It's just been like ignored. Gambit is something new that they added as well. People that are fans of that, I have no idea how you're a fan of it. It's been absolutely ignored as well. And I think that says a lot, because so much of this game has so much potential, and focus just seems to lie in maybe the wrong places. And what happens here is that you start getting something that's very repetitive. So, you log on, you do what you have to do, and you get off, and it just gets so draining. And the thing that I battled the most, which is why I say I'm an on and off player, is I just get over it. I really would. New games would come out, and I would just play something else. It just wasn't something that could hold my attention for a long period, at least until expansions were out. And that's something that I kind of want to focus on here. I think Destiny 2's expansions, good or bad, save the game, essentially. Us players, we're looking for new content. We're looking for new weapons, new raids, and expansions bring all of this to the table. We're getting all this new content. I mean, for 30 bucks or whatever it may be. And at the end of the day, you know, if it's like Lightfall, which was very mid, didn't do that well, and was kind of like cited as a reason for why they did their first layoffs, at the end of the day, it's still new content. And I actually enjoyed Lightfall a lot more afterwards, even though my cycle with expansions is I'll play the expansion, I'll beat it, I'll play maybe a season or two, and then I'll be out of it. But at the end of the day, I got my money's worth when it comes to the game. And I mean, I enjoyed the gameplay loop. So without something fresh for us to actually attach ourselves to, it really makes the game just not worth playing, in my opinion. So for me, when it comes to Destiny 2, once they sunset some of the content that I paid for, I was honestly just over the game. I just wanted nothing to do with it. I thought it was a slap in the face. And I wasn't really like down to ever come back until Witch Queen came out. I saw the reviews. A lot of my friends were saying, hey, it's a lot better now. You know, they've added the crafting, the game is free to play, which I think was a great move, by the way. There's seasons, and you know, to talk about seasons, it keeps my attention, but not really. It's really cool when there's some gear at the end that you really want, but at the end of the day, it's not something that keeps me engaged. But I did jump on Witch Queen, loved it, and was so into it that I went back and I actually bought all the previous content when it went on sale and just continued playing Destiny 2. Went right back into the cycle of playing the new expansion, maybe a month or two later, and then ditching it. So when Final Shape was announced after Lightfall, a lot of people were just saying, this might be the end. This might be the end of Destiny. And if you ask me, Destiny 3 is just long overdue at this point. So the biggest surprise here is Final Shape nails it, does everything a Destiny 2 fan wants, and more people get let go. And on top of that, if you look at the news, expansions are gone, guys. It's over. It really is over. It looks like the franchise is probably being phased out and it might die. I mean, the Jason Schreier article goes over Operation Payback, which was, I guess, supposed to be some like spin-off game that's in the Destiny universe. That's kind of like an imitation of Warframe. I don't know who asked for it, and honestly, like, it would be something I would try, but it just really sucks that, you know, we're getting some kind of odd spin-off and ditching all of like the loot and stuff that we've got here. It almost just felt like they saw the success of Warframe and were like, hey, we need our own version of this, versus kind of like a passion project, which, if you ask me, Destiny 2 is kind of that. I mean, you could tell sometimes with the environments, you could tell with the storytelling, where the passion comes in from the team that's actually making the game. And that's what makes it really, really enjoyable. On top of that, like I said, Destiny 3 was just never supposed to be a thing. That whole new frontier, maybe going to like a new galaxy and just starting over, I mean, that was just never on the table. It looks like all Bungie was focused on was Destiny 2, Payback, and this marathon game, which is like an extraction shooter. I mean, for me, I just can't get into those. I've tried. I haven't had one extraction shooter kind of just like hook me yet, so it's not just something I'm into. And I mean, sadly, it's really, really different. So, I mean, I think a lot of players that play Destiny 2 wouldn't really be into marathon like that. And I mean, we haven't even seen anything of this. So it really just feels like the company as a whole is just mismanaged to hell. And I mean, I think that's the reason so many people are getting let go and just so many changes are happening. And it probably just feels like Sony is just clamping down on them, saying, hey, enough of this shit. You guys aren't making enough money. You're not keeping player attention. I mean, if you just look at Final Shape, the player high for Final Shape, which is an amazing expansion, didn't even hit the same as Lightfall. So people are getting over it. People really are. And no matter how good this expansion was, it just wasn't able, I think, to make the money that they wanted. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys about Final Shape. Initially, for $40, amazing. It did everything I wanted. The environments were great. The new guns are great. You know, you've got a new raid that's amazing, secret missions. As a fan, like I said earlier, it's done everything that I wanted it to do. And I mean, I think I've got my money's worth, right? But post content for Final Shape, whatever this whole episode thing is, which is basically a season again, it just hasn't kept my attention, guys. I rarely play this game now. And I think in the last like 2 weeks, every time I've opened it to do maybe a strike or try to get my weeklies going, I turn it right off after one. I'm tired of it. I don't think that the season that they've actually got going right now is any fun. I don't think the battle pass is something that I'm kind of like itching to grind for those cosmetics. And even though the battle pass was free with my purchase, but I mean, it's sad. It's a really, really sad state that whatever support was planned after Final Shape has just really not nailed it for me, and I think a lot of other players. And it just sucks because so much was riding on this one. I thought Final Shape was the game changer for us, right? It was the DLC that did it right. But instead, it looks like they want to cut expansions out completely, which I think is a huge, huge mistake when it comes to this franchise. I think the expansions are what keep people playing. And on top of that, they're going to be doing 2 seasons, I think, a year, which is just BS. It really is bullshit. At that point, I mean, the game is dying, if you ask me. So 2 seasons, no big expansions, and instead they're going to be doing some like free updates like Into the Light. Now, when it comes to Into the Light, I thought that was an amazing update. You know, I liked the new game mode that they gave us, that they kept for us to do like a horde type of thing. It got old, of course, but it was fun, right? Is it fun enough to keep the game going? I think there's absolutely no way. I think that the amount of people that were playing Into the Light was high because guess what? When a new season or a new expansion is coming out, people jump on early. And I mean, that's when everyone wants to figure out their builds, get new good weapons, and kind of just like get back into the flow of things, right? With the new game and make sure their character is prepared for whatever's coming in the new expansion. So I think they're just like looking at the data incorrectly. And seriously, guys, if you ask me, I think so much of this could be avoided if a Destiny 3 was announced after Final Shape. I don't care if I lose gear, right? I mean, figure out something for us to transfer or get some kind of materials or help us out in some way. But at the end of the day, the game needs a refresh. The game needs to be, it needs something new. It really does. The same strikes, the same missions, it's all getting really old. And if you're just gonna do nothing but cut employees and then cut content, players like me have nothing to do at that point. And it's just sad because in a way, you're just like killing off this game. So I mean, after this entire thing, if you're someone that wants to get into Destiny 2, is it even worth your time, right? I mean, I just spent an entire video talking about my experience, how I came back to this, you know, what I've been thinking about the game and how it's kind of like captured me, right? Every year it captures me for a little bit. I get this new expansion, we ride this high, the high goes away. And, you know, I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of lows when it comes to Destiny 2. This might really just be the lowest that we're going. And I'm scared that I don't think that Destiny 2 is going to survive at this point. It looks like Sony wants to really, really cut this thing down, milk whatever money they can, and eventually just, I think, go their separate ways with it. It just looks like it's not making enough money, and whatever is being managed there corporation-wise, I mean, it's just not working, right? The CEO went and bought all these new classic cars and was showing them off to his employees like a piece of shit, and then just laid them off, right? It's crazy what's come out when it comes to Bungie. And I mean, they didn't need 343 to kill one of their own games. It looks like it's being killed either way at this point. If I'm a new player, I'm worried. I really am. I think there's a lot of awesome content if you want to just jump on and play this game and, you know, grind for a bit. But I really, really wouldn't get too invested. I mean, for me, I've been playing this thing for like 10 years on and off. And it's insane to me that instead of me getting something new to play, it just looks like this thing's over. It really is. I hate to be so negative when it comes to this. I mean, honestly, maybe these new updates are great. Maybe these 2 seasons that they're going to launch every year are going to have a lot of like thought and the game will just be great at this point, right? Maybe these seasons will be awesome. Maybe the rewards are going to be really nice and we're going to actually have a reason to play. But live services need updates. Live services need content. And at the end of the day, if you're not going to provide expansions, if you're not providing any type of content, I don't see a live service really working out for that long. And I think that's really what's kept this game going, was the large content drops that were happening. Because at the end of the day, it brought back players, it gave us a new story, it gave us new things to do. But it's like, if you're gonna take all this away and just give us little mini events, the game's just gonna get real repetitive, real old. And I think slowly everyone's just gonna trickle off of this one. And I mean, to give an example, we've got Fortnite, right? And every season, they've got a new battle pass with like really awesome rewards, admittedly, right? I mean, I've freaking played this game on and off as well. And some battle passes like actually bring me right back. You've got new maps, new weapons. They'll bring things back that they take away sometimes, like most freaking companies do. But I mean, I know they had a season that focused on cars. They've had Spider-Man swinging. It's insane how supported that company is. And I know Epic's a huge company. That's their moneymaker. But that's a live service that's actually being a live service for its players. And those players are actually enjoying it and they're logging on every day because they feel like there's a reason to log on. When you take away all the content, you're really getting rid of reasons to log on. And I really hope that whatever content they do bring works out. I really do. So I would hate that this game just goes away just because I've spent so much freaking time playing it. I really enjoy it. And, you know, sadly right now with Final Shape, I'm not into this season, but it's not to say that the next update might actually reel me back in. Unfortunately though, it's looking real bad, guys. It really is looking bad. Destiny 3 is just off the table completely, and it's being cut down along with their workforce. And I think also, I mean, there's a lot of free-to-play games coming out, a lot of free-to-play, a lot of services, and you know, they've got competition now, they really do. So at this point, maybe the competition will help them grow as a company, and maybe they'll be able to turn this one around. I mean, maybe Marathon is gonna be awesome and it's gonna just like be really, really fun to play. But you know, it just sucks to see this. I think at this point I've covered kind of everything I need. I'm gonna be linking some of the articles for any more like in-depth information for you guys. I think Jason Schreier and someone else did an article. It's gonna be in the description in the comments. But if you're a Destiny 2 player, I really wanna hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think so far. I mean, it's a shitty situation. The CEO is a piece of shit. It looks like it's mismanaged to hell. But are you positive about what's happening with Destiny 2 at this point? Or are we just all like kind of in denial at this point and this game is slowly killing itself? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks.